Hello, Packers fans. Welcome into PackersNews.com. I'm Kassidy Hill, joined by Pete Dougherty here from Lambeau Field, where, Pete, the Packers have finally gotten a win. Their first win, I counted it up, in 6 weeks. There's a bye week in there, but still 6 weeks, and they finally get a win, 20-3 over the LA Rams. They now move to 3-5. You were just telling me that in the post-game press conference with Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, the two of them just seemed relieved almost.
Yeah, there was nothing super insightful about what they said. There were a couple of interesting things, but nothing real insightful. But the sense of the monkey off the back was palpable. I mean, with both of them, they were just looser, and to be able to come in, even they know that they did not play. That the offense was still pretty shaky for a lot of this game. They moved the ball, but they still had those just back-breaking mistakes. But to win and to be able to win, sending garbage time guys out there, that you could just tell you could feel the relief oozing out of them.
That's a very good point, because other than their Chicago game, none of their games, even the losses, other than maybe the Lions game, so other than the Chicago win and the Lions loss, none of those games have been, garbage time plays, so to speak. They've all been pretty close, coming down to the last moment. So how crucial can a win like this be, as ugly as it is, for a team that's so young with so many rookies, that played a lot of rookies today and had a lot of rookies make impact? How crucial can just a win be?
I don't know. I mean, I just really hesitant. Just like, they have these, when they've had all these losses in a row, it's like, let's not be a prisoner of the moment. So they won a game against a team that was playing a quarterback who couldn't move the ball. Hats off the Packers defense for coming through, but still, that was a team without their quarterback. So let's not be a prisoner of the moment here. Tough to take too much away. I'm thinking kind of my gut walk away is it's not baby steps, it's a baby step,
Baby step.
Yeah. Which is a lot better than what's been happening. But, a lot of guys still have to prove a lot about where they stand with this organization going into next season. And, the playoffs are a pipe dream for these guys. But I think these last 9 games are really, really important. Not any one particular one, but what happens over this body of work of these last 9 games, I think they're huge for a lot of people, for this entire organization.
The pipe dream would be, it's a bad, it's a top-heavy NFC, but then nothing in the middle. I would assume you'd have to be 9-8, which means they would have to win 7 of their last 10. They got one of those today, but yeah, that's just laying out why it's a pipe dream. Let's talk about Jordan Love a little bit. As you mentioned, able to actually move the ball today. Let's see what he finished with. He finished with 20 of 26 for 228 yards. 1 touchdown. I want to talk about that touchdown here in just a minute too. 4 sacks for lost 21 yards. No interceptions, but he did have a fumble. It was it was considered an incomplete pass because it was a shovel. But there were fumbles all over the place today. It was raining pretty hard. Aaron Jones mentioned that, they weren't expecting rain. It wasn't in the forecast. So a lot of them were not playing with rain gloves until after some of the fumbles, and then a lot of them had to switch gloves on the sidelines. But the Jordan Love part of it, this is a team that they were playing that was 3-5 coming into this game. Let's keep that in mind, that it no longer has Jalen Ramsey on the outside at corner, but does still have Aaron Donald in the front, that does still have, Witherspoon on the back end. How much do you take away from what Jordan Love was able to do with those 228 yards, touchdown, and no interceptions?
Not a ton. The first half, he missed. He had Christian Watson wide open for a touchdown pass, a deep shot, and he just underthrew it badly. Those are starting to add up, the missed throws downfield. He took a really bad sack at the end of the second quarter, that had him kicking a longer field goal than they otherwise would have, and they missed it. But second half, there was a couple plays where it's like, well, there's some talent. There's arm talent there. He had that pass, I think it was to Wicks maybe, where he kind of threw it sidearm, kind of a deeper route. That was a really nice throw. He had a couple others. Even the last, I think it might have been a third down to Jaden Reed. I think it was, that was a nice, quick, hard throw, low, where Reed was the only guy who could catch it, but it was high enough where he could catch it. So there's talent there, but that was when I was talking about the last 9 weeks and guys who have, things to prove. Thinking of a lot of guys, but most especially him, he obviously has not done enough where it's like where the Packers are thinking, yeah, he's our guy. He still has a second half of the season to prove that. And today we saw signs of, well, there's talent there. There's the ability to do it there. And it'll just be how much is it more of that and less of the bad stuff over these last 9 games as opposed to the first 8.
Let's actually hear from Jordan Love, a little bit of Matt LaFleur as well on the quarterback's day.
But I thought when we needed it, especially down the stretch, late in the game, I thought he made some plays, and hopefully we can build upon that. Obviously, every time out, it's going to be a learning experience, and there's going to be plays that you want back. I've never seen a quarterback go through a game, and it's been a perfect game. And I know that there's been games that guys have perfect ratings, but nobody's going to be perfect. So I think as long as we continue to build upon the things that he's done well and learn from the mistakes that are made, I think there's a lot of good that can come out of that.
No, I mean, I think it's always, we got to keep building, keep growing. Obviously it's a great win, but, it's definitely just a win this week. You can't base this performance off what's going to happen going forward in the future. So, it's something that we just got to build on, come back next week ready to go, have that same mindset for the week, preparing, getting ready, and go out there next year. But, there's a lot of areas to clean up, a lot of things to clean up, and to be better next week.
Pete, one of, in my opinion, Jordan Love's best plays of the day. He had the long shot to Watson. He had something down here over in deep flat to Musgrave, where Musgrave kind of fell down, as he called it. He had the shot to Wicks, a couple of comebacks to Dobbs. But one of the more impressive plays of the day was something that it didn't even require a whole lot from Love. It was the touchdown to Musgrave. It was a double fake screen. It was a fake screen to Aaron Jones, a fake screen to A.J. Dillon as they both flexed out. He looked at both of them and then turned and threw the screen to Musgrave over the middle. Tight end took it in 20 yards for the touchdown. Aaron Jones, after the game, I mentioned that play, and he's like, yeah, that was hot, wasn't it? The biggest part to me of the play was that Love sold it. The past few weeks through some of these losses, we've seen him get a little flustered, maybe, and not have some of those fakes and the sells that he was able to have the first couple of weeks. Is a play like that, for as simple as it is, something that can kind of really help a quarterback's confidence?
Yeah, well, and it's got to help Musgrave, too, to get in the end zone. And you kind of saw it, like he made a tackler miss in the open field, because he keeps losing his feet on those downfield shots. The one he fell down again. You watch these games, and every time there's a decent play, the color commentary goes, oh, great play call. Come on. But that one, you actually got to say that was a really slick play call. And LaFleur said in his press conference he wasn't sure which assistant coach had dug that out in their game planning, but he said he knows because everybody's always stealing from each other. He says he knows the 49ers ran that to Kittle 2 seasons ago. Okay.
And then probably faked to 2 seasons ago. Would that have been Mostert and Debo maybe? Not that it matters. I'm just curious.
Yeah, probably. He did not queue up the tape for us to watch. But
we'll go find it.
Yes.
I have to go find that play. That's interesting. I do want to watch it. But yeah, great fake by everyone involved. Good job by Musgrave. He didn't do his Lambeau leap. He said he forgot. And that's something he has to work on. But we saw a lot of rookies like Musgrave kind of get involved today. Jaden Reed. Dontavian Wicks had a fumble that was him reaching for the marker and lost the ball. It was a weird fumble. It bounced up. The defender grabbed it. And then we see immediately a few plays or a couple of drives later, Jordan Love come back to him, and he had some huge plays to him. If you're the Packers, do you just kind of need to keep doing that with the rookies to kind of get them comfortable, get those under their belt?
Yeah, you got to play them. If you're going to play them, you got to keep going. There's going to be mistakes. Now that is, to fumble the ball where nobody touches you, that's bad. Yeah. You cannot have that. And what was that, the second play? Was it the first play, second play of the first half?
It was the
second play of the second half?
First drive, second play.
Yeah, second play of the second half. So, and they were, they had great field position after the nice kickoff return by Nixon, and then you have that happen. That was one of those instances where they were really lucky of who the opponent was today and who the other quarterback was, because a better team, and that's going the other way for at least 3 and maybe 7 points, and it's super deflating. So there was, circumstances. A lot of it have worked against them in the first, in this 4-game losing streak. Well, there was a big one working for them here. That's why it's really hard to take too much from this, other than a little bit of improvement in some things that you've mentioned, and they got the monkey off their back with the W. So they did put up 391 yards. I mean, they were better on offense, but they still, these back-breaking mistakes. I mean, for the life of me, I don't know how the guy lining up next to the center can twice be lined up in the neutral zone.
Almost wonder if that's something that was just not coached correctly during the week.
Yeah, and it's probably a little bit of a ticky-tack call. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I think the rule is the neutral zone is the length of the football. So the defense can't line up over the front of it, and the offense can't line up beyond the back of it. And if you looked, when they showed the replay, it sure looked like his hand and maybe his helmet were just over that line. So even if it was ticky-tack, I mean, you're right there. The guy's right there. Runyon's a 4th-year player, so it's not like he's a rookie or second-year guy. I have a little trouble blaming that on the coaching staff. I mean, I think these guys you got to take responsibility at some point too.
That's fair. And I do know, as we don't have the answers to this right now as we're filming this, but our colleague Ryan Wood did talk to John Runyon after the game to kind of
see what his answer is there.
So make sure you stay tuned to PackersNews.com for that story to kind of get a little bit of insight from John Runyon on what happened there. Let's talk about Aaron Jones real quick, though, before we go too much longer here. He finished with 24 touches for 99 yards. Matt LaFleur said earlier this week, we're ready to cut him loose and let him go. Aaron Jones said coming into today, he didn't still feel quite at 100%, but he felt the best he's felt physically since week 1. Is this what, again, consider a 3-5 opponent coming into this game, but Aaron Jones with 24 touches and 99 yards and a touchdown. Is this what kind of is the cog to this whole offense?
It is, I think. And, I have to think, and I asked LaFleur this, and he misinterpreted the question just a little bit. I think he thought I was asking about.
He doesn't misinterpret your questions, Pete. History says that doesn't happen.
I think he thought I was asking only about Jones, but Jones is about a 60%, 65% snap player, and he's been playing in the 30s the last 2 games that he's been back, and this is the first game where he was up. I bet he was over 60% today, and I think this is more like the offense they had to have been envisioning when they're doing all their planning last spring, last summer, OTAs, training camp. This is more what they envisioned. They had 28 and 33 out there for, I'm guessing, 5 or 6 snaps. And I'm going to go back and look, but I think those were pretty good plays, almost all of them. I think this is more the offense they envision. And it does give you a sense of, they put up 391 yards. Now they blew a chance for a lot of points. But this is more what they envisioned, I think, back, last March and April and May when they're making all their plans for the season.
Yeah, more of that 1-2 punch with him and Dylan, because I think Dylan had, 9 rushes for 40 yards and then a catch for 3 yards as well. Let's actually hear from both Jones and a little bit of Dylan about how this run game was able to operate today.
Like being out there, feeling like I can provide a spark or provide a boost, and I feel like we came out and we moved the ball well, got a faster start, which we needed, and I feel like it carried us through the game.
Matt said this week he was ready to cut you loose and let you go.
Sorry.
Do you feel like you were cut loose today?
Well, I do feel like I was cut loose. He just let me go out there and play. We're going to put 33 on the field and put the ball in his hands. So he did that, and I love when I can impact the game. So.
Man, the run game, I don't know what it, exactly is supposed to be or how it's supposed to look, but, me and him, I've said it time and time again. I know he said it. That's my brother on and off this field. And so however it goes, whether it's all him, whether it's all me, whether it's a little bit of both of us, we both want this team to win. We both want each other to be successful. And, there's times where, he's, kind of the dummy in the flat, and I'm actually getting the ball, or I'm going to block for him. And we both have that selfless mindset with one another, and that kind of propels us. And there's sometimes where we run out in the field together and kind of fist bump like, hey, let's go ahead and get this.
Pete, we spent 12 minutes on the offense. We haven't even touched the defense yet, and that's really kind of who showed out today. Again, they were facing a backup quarterback, so that's the caveat you have to put there. But it's a backup quarterback that's still playing with two of the best receivers in the NFL in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp was held to, I want to say 2 catches. 2 catches on 7 targets for 48 yards. 34 of those yards came on 1 catch. Jair Alexander drew that assignment a lot today. One of the better games I feel like we've seen Jair Alexander play this year.
Yeah, he got his hands on several passes. Carrington Love looked.
Carrington Valentine.
I'm sorry, Carrington Love played basketball for UW Green Bay about 6 years ago or whatever.
Well, it's like Jordan Love, Carrington Valentine, Romeo. Like it's
and
easy
don't forget,
to get.
I'm not very bright either, so that does not.
That's
help.
also a factor.
Yes. So anyway, Carrington Valentine, he looked really good. Like that was the guy that we all saw in training camp. Yeah. Remember all the plays he made in training camp?
And that preseason game he had at Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, so this is more, now he's going to have his rough moments. I mean, he's going to be playing a lot. And
Denver was a pretty rough moment for him.
And other teams are going to pick on him, and cornerbacks get beat. But I think today did show that there is ability there. But again, I mean, hats off to the Packers defense for all the pressure they got. Brooks knocking down a couple passes. Yeah. Campbell looked like he had a pretty good game. You know, they just played a good, solid game. They got put in some bad situations, but they were going against probably, you know, with ripping at quarterback and the Rams personnel, that's got to be one of the 2 or 3 worst offenses in the league. So that certainly it'd be a lot different. It was not the Chiefs they were playing or the Cincinnati Bengals. So that was a huge factor also.
Yeah, I do have their numbers here. So I mean, you think about it though, Carrington Valentine. Denver gave up 6 receptions for 88 yards, I want to say it was. He got picked on a lot opposite Rasul Douglas. He was playing opposite Jair Alexander today, so you know he's going to get picked on even more. He finished with 2 tackles, 3 passes defended. I think that's because you have to get a hand on it for it to be considered a pass breakup. He had a few even more than that he was able to affect the incompletion. Let's actually hear from Jair Alexander on how he thought the rookie played today.
I mean, like I said, he's great to play alongside with because he's hungry and he wants to make plays. It's important for him, especially because, you know, it's his first game out there, and not his first game, but his first game he took over. You know, once you get that feeling, like it's like, you know, you want more of it. So he's going to be hungry for more. He was in the zone. I mean, he was in the zone. You could tell. You could feel it from the pregame, you know. I talked to him yesterday. I said, look, man, you got a big opportunity ahead of you. Like, all honesty, you got a big opportunity ahead of you. And, you know, it's always guys that want your spot. So you got to take advantage, and he did that today.
Pete, Packers finally get their first win in 6 weeks. They went through Aaron Donald to do it. And, hey, now they get to go to Pittsburgh and face T.J. Watt and Mike Tomlin, whose teams always just seem to find a way to win no matter what. If you're the Packers, though, what are you taking out of this win to prepare for Pittsburgh?
Well, you know, and then they're going against Pickett, who may or may not be Pittsburgh's quarterback of the future. So they're not playing one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. So I'm sure they go in feeling like, all right, the ship is beginning to get back on course. If I were them, I'd be feeling like there's play like they did today, but don't be offsides on 4th and 1 when you're near midfield. I mean, that's 3 to 10 points, maybe even 14 taken off the board. You just don't take a sack late in the second quarter when you're going in for points. You got to throw that ball away. There's a bunch of those things that were still hurting them, that were taking points off the board, but they did move the ball better. So there's just going to be a little bit more of a bounce in their step come when they show up for work on Wednesday.
Hey, that's a coach's favorite day, though, right? A win with plenty of mistakes to work on, something that you can get the guys focused on during the week. Packers will have it after their 20-3 win over the LA Rams, moving to 3-5. Pete will have his column on PackersNews.com later tonight, and we will have full coverage wrapping up this win for you on PackersNews.com as well. Thanks so much, guys. For Pete, I'm Kassidy. We'll see you next time.